So, dear devotees, let us begin, and let us begin with Vandanam, mini Vandanam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tang Sajivam Sarvaitam Savarutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Param Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Cha. Then Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jainam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tvije Namaha Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So, dear devotees, we've come to the Monday Zoom, and can first of all somebody give me a thumbs up or anything else? Is our audio okay? Because we're using different microphones. Good, okay. We are using Prashadam microphone. They've been given by Keshavananda Prabhu for the service of the Zooms, etc. All right, so West London is moving, but the rest of us are stationary. All right, so dear devotees, I'm happy to be here, and this Monday Zoom is at a sensible time in Europe, but it's not a very sensible time in not Latvia, in Thailand, where we were recently. And there it was 1:30 in the morning. And the devotees prayed to me not to do the Zooms. So to satisfy the devotees, we did not do. But I heard every one of the Zooms in the recorded version, every word of every one of the Zooms in the recorded version. And very happy that the Monday Zooms continued steadily. So this week, we've been given a theme, which is, click, the remedy for grief. The remedy for grief. And actually, so often we are reading from the Kirtans, from Chaitanya Charitamrita, from Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, expression, which is very to this, the remedy for grief, the remedy for our sufferings. It will cure all of our difficulties. What will cure all our difficulties? Is to Sri Krishna, reality, the beautiful, exclusive service. The holy names of. So we're trying to share on gaudiya-darshan.com an article by the exact name, The Remedy for Grief, which is the subject for today. It's Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur recounts the pastimes of Srivas Thakur's son passing away during Sriman Mahaprabhu's Kirtan. And so it's 10 verses, but it's very short. So the following songs are found in Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Gitavali. And the translators have this link in the sheet which I put for them. Shoka Shatana, which means the remedy for grief. So perhaps I just read the translation to keep it short. So, in the evening, in the seclusion of Srivas's courtyard, the jewel Sri Gora danced in various ways, as the auspicious sound of chanting of the Lord's name arose. Mridangas, madalas, and kartals resounded in the midst of calls of Jai. Seeing the Lord's dancing, everyone's woes vanished. Maddened with unabated love, all the devotees forgot themselves, surrounded Gaurachanda, and danced and sang continuously. At this time, as a result of a disease prescribed by Providence, one of Srivasa's sons departed, and the women in the inner quarters of Srivasa's house began to loudly express their grief. When the crying arose, Bhakti-Vinod feared the Lord's joy would be disrupted. Srivas immediately understood the reason for the crying and entered his house. Srivas entered the inner quarters of the house and solaced the women with nectarian advice. He said, "Listen, you hysterical women, you grieve without reason. What grief is there in love for Krishna? One whose eternal son is Krishna never grieves. Attachment to the impermanent, however, causes total ruination. You have come to this world to serve Krishna, so delight in the eternal truth. As long as you remain in this body, love Krishna and know Krishna to be your wealth, companion, and life. Understand your relationship with everyone related to this body, that is your brothers, friends, husband, and sons, to be impermanent. Who is anyone's husband or son? These are impermanent relationships. Even if you want to maintain your relationships with them, you cannot. As a result of the consequences of his actions, someone became your son and sat on your lap. But when his karma is finished, he cannot remain with you any longer. Then the last verse, Itte sukha dukhamani adhogati labhe prani Krishna pada hoite pare dure shoka samvariya ebe namanande majasabe bhakti vinoda vancha pure. That is, living beings who identify with the happiness and sadness of such relationships become degraded and fall far from Krishna's feet. Subdue your grief now and immerse yourselves in the joy of the name, and thus fulfill the desire of Bhakti Vinod. So first of all, please tell me, was that clear? If the reading is clear or not clear? Was my internet breaking up or not breaking up? Thumbs up, okay. Thumbs up, all right. Hare Krishna. So dear devotees, there are lots of quotes which are telling us that our only duty is to serve Krishna. If we serve Krishna, all other troubles will go away. And okay, Tungaras has given us the remedy for grief. That means the URL. Thank you very much. It's all good. All right, so dear devotees, we're happy to be with you, and in looking up the various, some various quotes, there are so many quotes. I just chose a few as well, which are giving us some shelter giving us some understanding about really we just have to be devotees and we just have to chant the holy name of the Lord purely. So in the for the translators there, excerpt number 1 from the Prakrita Rasa Satu Dushani. This is in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Bhakti, the quote is, Bhakti, devotion, destroys all suffering, bestows all good fortune, belittles liberation. Then the difficult part is very difficult to attain, is intensely joyful, and number 6, attracts Sri Krishna himself. So except number 4, which is very difficult to attain, the rest of those descriptions of bhakti are very encouraging for us. And then from Sharanagati, we've got a quote from the Nrsimha Purana, and that is, I deliver from all suffering one who takes shelter of me, declaring, O Supreme Refuge, O Lord of Lords, O Janardhan, I am surrendered unto you. And Bhagavad Gita, we all appreciate Bhagavad Gita. Okay, Bhagavad Gita, missing Bhagavad Gita just now. Excerpt 4 from Prapanna Jivanamritam. Sri Bhagavata Prapanna Klesha Haritvam. The Supreme Lord dispels the suffering of his surrendered soul. That's Srila Guru Maharaj's introduction. And the verse from Nrsimha Purana, it's the same verse. Tvang prapanosmi sharanam deva devang janardanam iti jaha sharanam praptas tang kleshad udharamyaham. Okay, so I found that verse in the Prapanna Jivanamritam also. So you already heard the translation, and now you heard the Sanskrit and Guru Maharaj's introduction. Now there is from Prema Vivata by Sri Jagadananda Pandit, there's a whole series of verses which describing how the name dispels fear and punishment. So that sounds relief from grief to me. And so I can read to you basically, we just read some verses, and there are quite a lot. So maybe I'll read just a few verses in this section. So this is from Prema Vivata, and this is published by Chaitanya Saraswat Maharaj. It's got the word-by-word translation. It's got the Bengali. Everything is there. And so we are going to read the translations. And so it's texts number 50 onwards in the Prema Vivata. Chanting the name of Narayan makes the soul fearless of even terrible diseases and punishment by kings. There you are. And quoting from the Vani Purana, souls who are afflicted with terrible diseases or oppressed by kings become fearless by chanting the name of Narayan. And so Jagadananda Pandit does, as we see often in Chaitanya Charitamrita and by Guru Maharaj following this principle, Gurudev following this principle. He's giving a verse, he's mentioning something, and then he's giving the verification of that from the scriptures, in this case, the Vani Purana. So the next, the Bengali verse is Sarva Roga, Sarva Klesha, Upadrava Sane, arishtadi vinashahoya hari uchcharane. Chanting the name of the Lord destroys all diseases, suffering, disturbances, calamities, and so on. And then quoting a similar verse, but from the Purans, the Brihat Vishnu Puran, which basically is the same thing. Chanting the name of the Lord cures all diseases, ends all disturbances, and pacifies all calamities. All right, now a longer quote. And this quote, but continuing in the Prema Vivata, the next verse, as the wind drives away clouds and the rising sun invariably dispels darkness, so the chanted name drives away the soul's difficulties by his own power. These are the words of Vyasadeva. And then quoting from Vyasadeva from the Srimad Bhagavatam. But it's a similar verse because we've got the translation. So he's basically giving the translation and then the verse. But the Bhagavatam verse is, when souls hear and chant about the infinite Lord, he enters their hearts and removes all their difficulties, just as the sun dispels darkness and the wind disperses clouds. And then the next verse, when those who are distressed, depressed, disheartened, fearful, or afflicted with a terrible disease, see no help anywhere, and chant Narayan or Hari, they certainly become happy and free from sorrow. And then quoting from the Puranas, this time Vishnu Dharma Purana. Those who quote, so this is from Sanskrit, those who are distressed, depressed, disheartened, fearful, or terribly diseased, become free from sorrow and happy by once chanting the name of Narayan. Hare Krishna. Anyway, there's a whole string of verses. Next one is, Vishnu is unlimitedly powerful. Fiends, demons, evil spirits, ghosts, disembodied souls, monsters, witches, and all other ferocious entities flee from the chanting of his name. By chanting his name, all distress comes to an end. And then chanting the name of the Lord destroys all obstacles and dangers, such as hunger, thirst, and injury. Certainly, however, the power of the name never appears where there is any doubt about this. The grace of the name is attained through faith, not faithlessness. O devotees, know for certain that this is one of the hidden truths of the name. And then quoting from the Vishnu Dharma Purana, but actually we're just going to go on to the next Bengali of Jagadananda Pandit, saying, do not be afraid when you see the sharp teeth of the poisonous serpent of Kali Yuga. O devotees, listen carefully. The raging fire of Krishna's name will blaze up and burn away the serpent's teeth. And then quoting from the Skanda Puran, this Kali Kala Kusarpasya Tikshna Dangshasya Ma Bhayam Govinda Nama Davina Dagdo Yasyati Bhasmatam. Do not fear the sharp teeth of the poisonous serpent of Kali Yuga. The fire of Govinda's name will burn it to ashes. And then continuing in Bengali, Jagadananda saying, devotees who have left all other shelters and taken shelter of the Lord's name in this dark age of Kali are successful. Great joy arises by chanting, O Hari, O Keshava, O Govinda, O Vasudev, O Jaganmai. The obstacles made by Kali do not exist within the eternally pure hearts of those who constantly and faithfully chant the name. Govinda, Govinda. And then continuing on with the Bengali a little down. The residents of hell who chant, the residents of hell who chant Hari and Krishna become devotees of the Lord and go to the divine abode. I was only going to read a handful of these verses, but actually it's a little difficult to stop. Hare Krishna. And then, okay, so verse 78, Bengali, only the name of the Lord can cut away the active reactions to sins. Such a result is never attained through worldly knowledge or action. Without chanting the name of the Lord, entanglement in karma is never cut away, and seekers of liberation never attain the liberation upon attaining which there is no further attachment to karma. They never become uncontaminated by passion and ignorance or free from. Hare Krishna. Okay. So, can I pass over the microphone maybe to Lavanyamoy in London? And then you've probably meditated on this a little bit and you could say a few words. And your internet, we know, is very strong.
British internet, of course. Sorry. Well, I was just thinking that having not actually ever chanted the holy name properly, all those quotes are beautiful and wonderful, but they're not where I am at. But, you know, with a pure heart, we can chant the holy name, but then there's different levels, isn't there? And I feel that from relating to me, those quotes seem like for someone who actually has chanted it completely purely, so that their whole consciousness is different. But just the grief from, you know, relief from grief was always from reading the Bhagavad Gita and, you know, learning from the devotees about the soul, eternality of the soul, and how this life is temporary. It's meant to be temporary. It's not meant to be forever. Just those really, you know, wonderful reality that we get from the Gita, from Lord Krishna, and from Gurudev and Guru Maharaj, and how this is really a very temporary life, but there is eternity for the soul. That's just such a relief from the grief of the sadness of the world. You know, you see people crying and they think that person has died and finished forever, you know, and then that was, especially if someone dies young, they didn't complete their life. And it's so sad to see, you know, people feeling so, you know, sad for that, when it was really just a blip in time, and the soul will continue to other places and hopefully back to the spiritual world. So for me, the relief from grief was that, you know, that understanding, that knowledge that has been very mercifully bestowed upon us. And obviously you have to have division with that to understand it with faith, isn't it, about the Lord, and otherwise, wouldn't really have much meaning to it if someone was just flying around the universe forever. But that there's that goal, and our home is somewhere to be aiming towards, and that makes it very wonderful, So relief for me from grief of the life was like that, for understanding that reality, particularly.
Yes.
Yes, I think that was my thoughts on that as you were reading.
And very practically too, this is all very practical. We are taking shelter of the Lord. We're taking shelter of the Lord in the way that He tells us. And that means we're taking shelter of the Lord through His name and through His devotees. And I think one of the very prominent qualities of Srila Gurudev was that anyone who came to him with some faith, with some heart, they just didn't think about the outside world, and they just only see that there is a flow of grace from up to down. There's really a heart transaction taking place, and that we will be safe if we try to stay within that shelter. So service, but the service connection is through the devotees, and Srila Gurudev and Srila Guru Maharaj, the heartiest of the hearty devotees. So maybe we can pass this to Kumkum, because she's got some things prepared, and now we've got a good connection on this little telephone. So we're going to pass the phone to Kumkum, and you can speak to them.
Is there?
So,
Living there now.
Dandavad. Is it audible?
Yes, did it?
All right. So there's such a nice topic, and this reminds me of a remarkable pastime that we can read in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 6th canto. There are actually 3 full chapters about this pastime of a king long ago named Chitraketu, and all of chapter 14 describes him and how his when he was ruling the province of Shurasena, everything was beautiful. The earth was producing everything that anyone needed. And he had many, many wives, but they were not blessed with any progeny at all. So he was very sad. And then Angira Muni and Narada Muni came to visit him, and they awarded that he would get would get a wonderful son. And so finally he was so happy to get a son. And he performed all the ceremonies perfectly, and then unfortunately the child died, and untimely. Well, he was a young boy, but he died. And in the next chapter, Narada comes to console him, and I'll read some of these. Let's see, some of the text. It's lengthy in the entire chapter. If you want to know more about this, it's describing the verses which explain to us about why not to lament. In text 21 and 22 and 23, Narada says, "My dear king, now you are actually experiencing the misery of a person who has sons and daughters. O king, owner of the state of Surasena, one's wife, his house, the opulence of his kingdom, and his various other opulences and objects of sense perception are all the same in that they are temporary. One's kingdom, military power, treasury, servants, ministers, friends, and relatives are all causes of fear, illusion, lamentation, and distress. They are like a Gandharva Nagara, a non-existent palace that one imagines to exist in the forest. Because they are impermanent, they are no better than illusions, dreams, and mental concoctions. These visible objects, like wife, children, and property, are like dreams and mental concoctions. Actually, what we see has no permanent existence. It is sometimes seen and sometimes not. Only because of our past actions do we create such mental concoctions, and because of these concoctions, we perform further activities. The living entity in the bodily conception of life is absorbed in the body, which is a combination of the physical elements, the five senses for gathering knowledge, and the five senses of action, along with the mind. Through the mind, the living entity suffers three kinds of tribulations: adibhutika, adidevika, and adhyatmika. Therefore, this body is the source of all miseries. Therefore, O King Chitraketu, carefully consider the position of the Atma. In other words, try to understand who you are, whether body, mind, or soul. Consider where you have come from, where you are going after giving up this body, and why you are under the control of material lamentation. Try to understand your real position in this way, and then you will be able to give up your unnecessary attachment. You will also be able to give up the belief that this material world or anything not directly in touch with service to Krishna is eternal. Thus you will obtain peace. And then finally in the third chapter, it explains how, because Narada Muni allowed the soul to re-enter the body, because the soul had to leave that young boy's body in an untimely way. So Narada was able to allow him to re-enter, and the so-called dead son then sat up and began explaining to his father, King Chitraketu, how to get out of misery. So this young boy, the whole chapter is these beautiful instructions, but he says the living entity is eternal and imperishable because he actually has no beginning and no end. He never takes birth or dies. He is the basic principle of all types of bodies, yet he does not belong to the bodily category. The living being is so sublime that he is equal in quality to the Supreme Lord. Nonetheless, because he is extremely small, he is prone to be illusioned by the external energy, and thus he creates various bodies for himself according to his different desires. For this living entity, no one is dear, nor is anyone unfavorable. He makes no distinction between that which is his own and that which belongs to anyone else. He is one without a second. In other words, he is not affected by friends and enemies, well-wishers, or mischief mongers. He is only an observer, a witness of the different qualities of men. Oh, this explanation is actually quite heavy, I believe. That is from Srimad Bhagavatam 6th Canto, story of King Chitraketu. Not an ordinary attachment from a father to his son.
Hare Krishna. They've handed me back to you, or they've handed you back to me, or me to you. Any question or any contribution, you better ask quickly while we still have internet. One day it'll all collapse. Maybe it is today. Hare Krishna. Any question from anyone? Oh, that's my finger. I was seeing a finger showing there. It's my finger. I'm just scrolling through your names, and because I'm not on the computer, I'm seeing you all on the phone. And happy to see you. Venu Gita with us. Jai Venu Gita. Krishna, 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 and Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu from Ukraine with us. Anu Krishna in Brazil, Ananda Sundari in South Africa, Devananda Prabhu in London, just see. And Leela Sunda Prabhu in Brazil, we have a few Brazilians, and Naza, Prafulla Krishna Prabhu, Jai. Actually, Jais to all of you. Rangadevi also. I was thinking of you recently, Rangadevi. Oh, there's a message there from Vasil, but you'll have to operate it. You can say what is the message? Chat. Keep on going. Last message. Last message. Last message. Oh, okay. Now we've done it. Hare Krishna. Munindra Mohan Prabhu, you never have grief. Can you see Madhurananda on the phone? Oh, here's Madhurananda Prabhu. Dandavat. Okay, so Anutama sending some hearts. We're going to pass you over to Manindra Mohan. But somehow you got to not hold it by hand, otherwise they get seasick. Yeah, there you go.
Dandavat, all the devotee. I'm actually chanting because I had no chance to chant all day. And listening to Prema Vivarta, I got more inspiration to chant. But my chanting is really poor. What can I do? But no, never be grief, even if my condition is miserable. Because what result can give if you become sad or self-deprecating or depressed and things like that. I'm not having any taste for Krishna Nama. I have no taste for service. This is normal for me. It's not a news. But as today we're going someplace with Madhurananda, I asked Madhurananda, do you think Gurudev is smiling looking at us or is just shaking his head? And Madhurananda said, no, he's smiling. He's smiling. So I listened to Madhurananda. We got a beautiful stove from a valley over Bergamo. We went to the mountain to get a better stove, wood stove, second hand and very antique, very good looking for the greenhouse, which is not a greenhouse, it's a rustic cafe, like Vrindavan Chanda call it. A rustic cafe, Villa Govinda. But we are having a little more cold winter, so customers are decreasing. So we provide this nice stove, and people will come more, will be more cozy, and we will have more engagement to preach to them. So when we preach to people, but we preach to us first. And preaching, grief goes away, no problem. If you talk about Krishna, everything become enlightened and beautiful. So we always have to deal with people, willing or unwilling. Sometimes we miss little loneliness, but we choose this life, and this good, is very healthy, because people means souls, and every soul is actually auspicious by nature. So when we are dealing to each other, we are dealing between souls, and that is the life. Is not auspicious. Is not font of sadness, although sometimes it's difficult, but it's life. So we proceed in this way. We get the visit in the ashram of so many auspicious persons. Lavanya Moy came for a few days, cannot tolerate not to be part of the seva of the new expansion building of Villa Govinda, and she worked many hours, hard work, like a man with jackhammer. More than a man. And Krishna Kanta also is like a possessor. He keep mixing cement and lime rock for her, and she's fixing all the building. So yeah, we are having fun here. Please join if you can. There's a lot of seva. And Madhusudan, you want to say something? Can you say? No, I don't speak.
Okay, put it down. Well, here's Lavanya Moy also, and she has got an extra. This is her extra evening here. She was due to leave a little earlier, but here she is. So it's an extra evening for a reason, so she can share a few words with you. But are you in front of the camera?
Yes, not
No, but you have to change the channel.
What can I say? Yeah. Because there is beautiful seva, and seva always help you. It's like a meditation.
Active meditation.
Yeah.
Very active.
Very active meditation.
Jackhammer meditation.
Good job. Okay, that's all.
Well, something is better than nothing. We hear this expression. We hear this expression from Srila Gurudev, in fact, this movement. So there is just something here that Srila Prabhupada points out in a commentary. The Srila Prabhupada points out that about the three types of misery, Adibhautik, Atmic, Adibhautik, Adidevic. But that basically that's just categories of miseries of samsara, the cycle of birth and death. And so Srila Prabhupada, short quote, so we are always suffering from one or more of these miseries. This material nature is constituted in such a way that we have to suffer. That's the material nature. It's constituted in such a way that we have to suffer. It is God's law. And we are trying to relieve the suffering by patchwork remedies. Everyone is trying to get relief from suffering. That is a fact. The whole struggle for existence is aimed at getting out of suffering. There are various kinds of remedies that we use to try to relieve our suffering. One remedy is offered by the modern scientists, one by the philosophers, another by the atheists, another by the theists, another by the fruitive workers. There are so many ideas, but according to the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, you can get free of all your sufferings if you simply change your consciousness to Krishna consciousness. That's all. Our sufferings are due to ignorance. We have forgotten that we are eternal servants of Krishna. There, I thought that was just a sweet and short excerpt, some words from Srila Prabhupada. We're always hearing from Srila Prabhupada, from Srila Gurudev, from Srila Guru Maharaj. And from the books which are presented, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book, Sharanagati, and the songs, Narottam Das Thakur, we heard today earlier, Jagarananda, and it's also one book that we know of. We don't know of any others that he wrote, the Prema Vivata. Anyhow, everyone's very quiet on the other side of the room. And we had a little struggle today with the internet, but all is well that ends well. Hare Krishna. Any short comment from anyone?
Maharaj, have you got a little report from the program in Thailand?
A little report. Ah, well, it wasn't in Thailand, and West London Matt is not. Just 1 second. All right, some message coming up.
The jamming again.
Yeah, well, we got a phone call coming in. I haven't blocked the message. Please make it so that it doesn't receive any calls. One moment, dear devotees. No, there's a way to stop calls coming in. You know.
Like mics? No.
You don't know. Okay. We'll do our best. You're moving? Yes, you're moving. So, what I wanted to say briefly, we hope calls don't keep on coming, that is that really we're saying Thailand, we're saying that this temple, that temple, but wherever the devotees are trying to lead the life that Gurudev and Guru Maharaj have given to us, then we're feeling that they are really the same rooms of Chaitanya Saraswati. Of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. I have to know how to use it. What's no?
It's
No, not here. Okay, we're still trying. Sorry, we've got lots of challenges today. So, in other words, the Thailand program, it was very sweet. It was the devotees of the family who are trying their best to lead the life given by Gurudev. And so just as we are here in Vila Govinda, really it doesn't feel much different than being in Govinda Farm in Thailand. And similarly, in the London temple, you've got the daily program, you've got the daily service, we've got the standard of Gurudev that we're trying to follow. and to follow it cleanly and purely. And so we are with sweet devotees whose ambition is the same. And this way, when we are with the family of devotees, then wherever we are, we're feeling at home. And the Thailand was, the festival was officially like 2 weeks, or maybe it was 10 days, from the beginning of Kartik up until Srila Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja, which is the 9th day of Kartik. But actually, it continued just like Vila Govind, with devotees coming and going, some devotees staying all the way through, service going on, all the way until till I came away, which was Monday, right? No, today's Monday. No, Thursday of last week. So anyway, just a few days ago, I haven't quite caught up with the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday thing yet. But just until recently. So really the programs were running just very much like in Navadip Chaitanya Sarasatma, and very much like in Vila Govinda ashram here. And so we can say that the Thailand program is very good opportunity for devotees in an environment, if you like, which is quite like Bengal, but without many of the things which are difficult for devotees to adjust to in Bengal, and also the loudness of Kali Yuga, and somehow in India many Kali Yuga things are very much in our eye, very much in our ear, very much around. But in Govinda Farm, really a very gentle environment. And around us, we did some walks and journeys out with the devotees. But we went to temples, we saw many things which are there. And the environment there is very gentle and respectful, you can say. So anyhow, I don't quite know what to say. Summary is, it was very beautiful. And next year, at this time, means at the beginning of Kartik. The program runs from the beginning of Kartik through till at least to Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja. But this next year, then the temple will be opened, not with the deity yet, but with the photographs. But the temple will actually be opened and running. And as we speak, the roof is about to go on. So once the roof is there, it will have much more, be much more recognizable. Okay, this is a temple, and it's Thai-style temple. So Paramananda Prabhu and Krishna Priya Devirasi, they are inviting the whole world to come. So, and they said, no, there's space for everyone. So there's space for the whole world. So book your seats now, book your transport, book your tickets, because already they've said, no, we've got accommodation, festival accommodation, no doubt. All right. And in Italy, the remainder of the snowman is still here, but the rest of the snow has gone. But any of you been to San Francisco, then today was very much like San Francisco. Thick fog and damp and all those things. But on the hills, when it clears, maybe tomorrow we'll see that it'll be a lot of snow falling on the mountains. And arriving in Italy, beautiful Alps, all snow, all beautiful, and came in with the sun rising. So the Alps were orange with the phone call. All right, dear devotees, we better let the phone go back to doing its duty as a phone, and we'll try. I don't know how to solve the internet problem. I don't know why it's so crazy today, but finally we're able to utilize this phone and it worked well. So, dear devotees, be free from all grief. Be Krishna consciousness. Chant and be happy. Jai Srila Gurudev, wonderful Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, wonderful Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakak, Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai Srila Nuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. And Jai Vishwarenu Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. To all of you dear devotees, so many devotees here around the world, ki Jai. And to Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda, unlimited numbers of devotees everywhere, ki Jai. And Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. And Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Pantitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. And much appreciation to our translators, and please excuse today's interruption with the internet. But it happens. You've been all very tolerant to stay throughout it all. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Amra Hare Krishna. Dandavad, Dandavad. I'm passing the phone back to its owner. Govinda, Govinda.